Hey everyone, it's raining and it's going to continue to rain overnight tonight and into the morning. We got a lot to talk about and we want to geek out because this is a big system that's coming in. Josh, what are you doing, man? You're still up. Josh Rugger just said on here that he is going to bed. Got to get back to bed. Just wanted to hop on and say hi, Dan. The craps table. You were rocking it, man. You were playing. You had a big stack. We had a Christmas party tonight, so that was pretty good. But let's dive into what we've got. And so join in on the conversation. Ask any questions that you guys might have. We'll be able to interact with it. We've got rain though that's starting to already pop up. Check it out on Heil Heating and Cooling Mega Doppler, and starting to pick up a little bit more in intensity. You can see kind of spotty though. And if this doesn't fill in solidly, then we're probably not going to see that localized flash flooding threat. These rain rates are just too slow. However, we know more energy is moving in. And so we know the rain amounts are possibly going to be picking up. So, yes, it is going to rain overnight tonight. It already is raining. I don't think this is a major system, but it is a little wet, and it will continue to be a little wet. And as you'll see here on the satellite and radar, we got a little bit of training activity with that southwesterly flow. And so look at the cells, though, that are kind of popping up to the west. So this is kind of the energy that's beginning to move in, and this is where the rain's really going to pick up. And the models have been insistent on showing this. There you can see it starting to blossom. So that's the very leading edge of the stronger energy. And let's zoom out here a little bit more, and you can see that energy extending all the way west into West Texas. And so we're definitely going to see rain overnight tonight. There's that jet stream and its zonal flow. And my goodness, look at what's happening on the West Coast. Let me tell you something, folks. This is a yikes. This is a stormy weather pattern. Look at all that high angular momentum south of the Aleutian Islands. That's going to set the stage for absolute chaos next week. Early next week, too. And look at these clouds right here. These are called alto cumulus clouds. They represent very cold air aloft. Cold air aloft leads to strong storm systems because you have obviously the dynamics of the system. You have thermodynamics, which is basically a big diurnal gradient and a big temperature gradient, which will lead to some pretty intense, strong intensification of storms. And so that's exactly what we're seeing. Now, when we look at the water vapor, let's check this out. Lot of energy off to the west. So there's the system that's coming in for the weekend. That's the system over the weekend that's diving west of that. We have this system that's starting to move in. Notice the nose of the dry punch. That's where we're starting to see the stronger cells that are developing. A little bit of colder cloud tops signifying that we have a little more lift. And like I said, a little bit of rain coming our way. And so there's the zonal flow. There's the system moving in. And let's check out what we've got for the timing of all of this. And we'll dive into Monday's system. But first, we got to get through this one. So there's a look at 42 on Friday morning with a few showers. The rain pretty much lasts throughout the first half of your Thursday. It is going to drop off during the second half of the day. We've got a future track radar to show you on this. So this is the latest HRRR. This is basically was updated at 6 o'clock or a little after. And so you can see how the models are picking up on that heavier precipitation that moves in Thursday morning. That's tomorrow morning in a few hours. Lingers throughout morning commute time, and then starts to move out. Is this going to be a widespread, significant, catastrophic flood? No. Is it going to provide localized flash flooding? It's possible. Last bit of the wave comes through Thursday late morning and into the afternoon. Should clear out, but the models are kind of showing a little more precipitation, and so that's what we're going to be looking at. Here's a look at the future track model that's updated every hour. And so once again, it's got that rain popping up and moving through. So the rain amounts will be picking up, and then that's when we see the potential for some localized flash flooding. Okay, beyond that, we've got that system coming in on Saturday. So a lot of people wondering what's going on with Saturday. The Bentonville Christmas Parade is happening. You've got, maybe some of you are going to a sporting event. I don't know. Football, I guess, is over for the most part. Maybe you're trying to do something outside Saturday morning. Saturday morning, not the day to do that. So let's show you here what we've got with our European model. And you're going to see Friday afternoon looking really good. No problems there. Now, Friday night into Saturday morning, here comes that energy that's swinging in. So 7 o'clock in the morning, pretty much widespread rain. This could be some heavy rain too. And then as we move throughout our Saturday afternoon, that system starts to move out. So we are talking about substantial amounts of rain. Now, watch what happens as we move into our Monday. Now, there's a lot of uncertainty with not that there's going to be a system, not that the strength of the system is pretty intense, not that the wind shear will be incredible, but there's a question about the timing, as there always is 6, 7 days out. Me personally, I think this is going to be an overnight Monday into Tuesday morning time frame. How about that? Heard some lightning. Let's see if we got some lightning popping up. Heard a rumble of thunder. Oh yeah. Look at that. Jeff, you got it, man. You nailed it. So let's look at the Mega Doppler. And there it is. A little bit of rumbles of thunder. Josh talked about that too. So that's the thunderstorm activity that's starting to pop up. And there it is. Rain beginning to pick up in intensity. And there's going to be more of that, as you can tell, because we're getting that overrunning precipitation and we're getting more energy to move in. And so, yep, there's the rain and there's the thunder. Back to what's going to be a lot of thunder. A lot of thunder. So check this out. Monday night into Tuesday morning, there's going to be storms. And then you can see the system moving through Tuesday. Now, it doesn't look like a lot, right? Doesn't look very impressive. Doesn't look like a whole bunch. But when we look at, number one, the severe weather risk, this is personally what I think the warm front is going to look like. The warm front's going to be kind of nudging through our area. We're going to see almost a what we call a dry line warm sector. So you've got essentially east of the dry line, a boundary between warm, humid air and hotter, drier air west of that. Then you got the cold front that's got cold, drier air behind it, and the warm front is the leading edge of the moisture. So this will be not the surface map at all times, but some severe because at this point we've got slight. But then you'll notice as we move into our Tuesday, we've got the potential for some showers and storms that will be popping up. You know what? Do I have the right settings on here on the audio? Yeah. Check. Can you guys hear me okay? I might turn that up just a little bit. Let's see. James, he said I'm so quiet. I don't think his microphone is turned up. Can you hear me now? Is that a little bit better? Yep. So James, if you can't hear me well and everybody else can, you might want to turn up your volume a little bit. So people are saying loud and clear. So yeah, James, just maybe turn up your phone a little bit. All right. So there's the severe weather. Notice how it becomes an occluded front. The occluded front is a cold front catching up with the warm front, and that is essentially what that does. Is that brings colder air that's surging in. And so that's what we're going to be getting. That's the system that's coming in. Now, we're going to geek out about this system and we're going to really dive into the details. But before I do that, I got to show you the jet stream here. Because let me tell you something. This jet stream, it's downright wicked on how much this energy is going to be moving in. So first of all, we got the zonal flow. You can see the system moving through. And we had this pegged, early last week, how this was going to be an active week ahead. Remember how the models were waffling on how much precipitation there would be? Well, look, it's raining now. And so, they're not perfect 6, 7 days out. Now, check this out. A little wave of energy comes through Saturday morning. That's gone. We get a ridge of high pressure. And look at this trough. Look at this thing. It is absolutely massive. Look, that ridge goes all the way up basically into the Northwest Territories. Then it drops straight south, and then we get what's called basically almost a ski jump. This is kind of like a ski jump jet stream with the nose of the jet coming in. And so you can see how that nose of the jet's moving through. And then as we move into our Tuesday early morning, that energy starts to swing in. Now, folks, this is a big one. This is a big, large cutoff low. The surface low is going to be well north of us. And when we're looking at precipitation, this thing is just is huge. then you can see it kicking out. Now, at this point, things get interesting because we've got cold air that's arriving. The cold air that's arriving, guess what? That also could come with some precipitation. Now, we've been mentioning this. The models actually hinted at this for the end of the third week in December. And, that's pretty close to just a little bit before Christmas time. Now, the models probably took it out at this point, but regardless, that's a lot of jet stream energy. There's going to be several waves of precipitation. And if we look at the Weather Prediction Center, we'll look at the 6 to 10 day outlook. Much colder than normal off to the west. That's because of that big dip in the jet stream. The 6 to 10 day outlook, wetter than normal for precipitation. The 8 to 14 day outlook, look at what we have here, colder than normal, signifying that dip in the jet streams coming in. And then you've got 8 to 14 day outlook, and you're going to see also the potential as we get close to December 15th to the 21st, wetter than normal. So, what does all the ingredients look like? Well, we still don't know, again, the details on the instability. And, the models are showing instability at this point, but there are, several days out, and it still doesn't show everything spectacular. So, why don't we do this here? We're going to bring up some of the graphics. This is called F5 Weather. It's a great site, and it shows the European and various other models. So here is the precipitation that's coming in, and you're going to see this is explosion. Let me bring this up full screen so you can see. We'll keep the camera down at the bottom in case you're wondering who's giving this. So here it is, Monday. The system's probably going to be strong enough where it brings some thunderstorms. Then you're going to see Tuesday morning. I personally think, this is going to be a morning event. Tuesday morning is going to be our severe weather time. Don't think it can't happen at that time. It's going to be mainly Tuesday morning. Then you see that system moving out. So there is a lot of precipitation on there, and this is 150 hours out. There's a lot of uncertainty. This is a long ways out. But when we look at the individual types of ingredients here, let's look at the tornado potential. You'll see right there Tuesday morning, it's got it, and it's also got it to the west. Now, this scale right here represents how high it gets. We're Monday into moderate to high in terms of the tornado potential. And I will say this does a pretty good job. And so Monday, it really doesn't have much over us. So this model is a little bit slower than the GFS. So let's dive into some of the stuff on this. So here is the European model that shows 2.5 inches for overnight tonight into the morning. We'll take a look at those rain totals. It is starting to pick up too in South Arkansas. So that's going to be a bullseye for heavy rain. Saturday, we got that rain coming in the morning that could add another inch. So it's not a slouch of a system. The GFS has that energy coming in. And remember, severe weather typically has lower QPF at first, meaning lower quantitative precipitation forecasts. That happens at first. Let's go to the deterministic for this model, and we'll take a look here at, first of all, we'll bring up the weather maps, and we'll look at the European. And I'll just kind of show you where we're at with vorticity. This is just a massive, massive system. So I'll get to your questions here in just a bit. But let's look at upper air heights, and we're going to look at the 500 millibar vorticity. And you are going to see just an incredible system. So this is the system that's coming through tonight and into the morning. Kind of elongated, not really focused. Yes, some energy moves through, and then it starts to lift out. I hear the rain coming down heavier, by the way. It is definitely, and a lot more lightning too, south of Fayetteville. It's coming over West Fork right now. But look at this system next week. You ready? This, by the way, I won't have it because it's the 18Z and it doesn't go out far enough. So here it is. Look at the size of this system. Look at that thing. So you can't tell me that this won't bring significant weather. It's number one, it's a negatively tilted trough. Number two, you've got spreading out of the ISO heights at 500 millibars. That indicates what's called diffluent flow. If we look at the upper level winds, you're going to see that diffluent flow. And look at how the jet stream's spreading out. Now, this is westerlies that are coming in, nose of the jet, Tuesday morning. This is going to be an overnight Monday into Tuesday morning time frame, in my opinion, at this point. Now, if we look at severe weather, you're probably not going to see a lot of instability, but it does have it. And so it does break out quite a bit of instability. Now, this is essentially 6 days out from now. Tuesday. We're on Thursday night. It's already showing this amount of instability, which is pretty impressive. So that starts to move out, and then of course it all dies to the southeast of us. But the Gulf's going to be open for business, and everything's coming back. Let's look at the lightning flash rate. You can see it developing over us. Pretty intense system that comes through. This doesn't show a whole lot of parameters. Let's look at the GFS model. We'll look at a sounding here. And the sounding for Northwest Arkansas does indicate tornado potential. This is another one of those high shear, low cape type events. However, I think personally that the cape is a little underestimated. So let's take a little break from all of this, diving into all the details. And let's go back to our Mega Doppler source, and then we'll answer some questions. But there's a look at the storm popping up. There's the lightning that's developing south of Fayetteville, south of Farmington. That's that system that's coming in. If we look at our Mount Sequoia Weather Bug Network camera, totally socked in with clouds, and the rain is definitely coming down. So Graduate Hotel shows that rain picking up and getting a little heavier. Okay, so let's take a little break. And here's what we've got. All right. Well, I actually don't have a lot of questions. Maybe you guys are just sitting back and listening. Or maybe you're just like eyes glazed over going, I have no idea what he's talking about. Basically, the sounding's really impressive. With the westerlies coming in, storms could possibly right turn. You got pretty close to 90 degrees. Very impressive shear profile. LCLs and LFCs basically scraping the ground. Now you look at this right here with the significant tornado potential. It shows no quality matches. That's because it's not very unstable in the low levels. But there's 67 Cape. Those are some pretty steep lapse rates. And so that's definitely something to watch. Now, if we go to the European model, you're going to see a little bit of a different story at this time. I got to go to the high res. Excuse me. And okay, so look at that system, man. That's the 500 millibar heights with that strength of that system coming in. That's Tuesday morning. So let's go back to severe weather. Let's look at the surface-based LCL heights, which will be extremely low, 156 meters. That is extremely low. If we look at the 850 to 500 crossover, my goodness, look at that shear. That doesn't get any more textbook than that. You got southeasterly winds in the low levels, 50 knots at 850 and 50 knots out of the southwest at 500. Now, the instability is questionable on the European. I don't believe it. I think it's a little underdone. And so if we look at mostly unstable Cape, we'll click on this. You'll probably see what's called a Cape robber, and it is. It's not showing a very well. This is one thing that's a question as to how much instability will there be, because the models don't handle this very well 6 days out. So it's all about, honestly, believe it or not, the system that comes through on Saturday. If the system that comes through Saturday, oh, by the way, you weren't seeing that. You weren't seeing all those soundings. You were just seeing the camera. There's a look at the European. And you can see on the European, it's showing. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yep, you just said we're not seeing the models. So this is the sounding from the European. Very impressive shear profile. Let me go back to, just because you missed all that other stuff, let's go back to the 850, 500 crossover. And you can see the amount of shear. Look at that. East-southeasterly winds, southerly winds at 50 knots, southwesterly at 500. The problem is that it's just not handling the instability properly. And there's a reason for that. It's because of this system that is coming in on Saturday. Watch what happens here with, first of all, mixed layer Cape. And you're starting to see it increase a little bit. Now watch what happens. It gets shoved. This is, by the way, Saturday morning, it gets shoved way down to the south, and then it doesn't return until Monday. But if the system slows down, that gives another day of return flow that will allow for that instability to come back. Now, check this out. This is the mostly unstable cape. You can see that lifting northward. And then look at the front that comes in. So if this happens, this scours out the Gulf, not as much as it did originally. So that's good for, that's if you want storms or severe weather. That's one thing that will not tend to weaken the instability. And then you see the system dropping southeast. So there's a lot to go over. And if we go into the SIPS analogs, so this is something that's kind of cool. We're really going to dive into the weeds here. But this is what's called SIPS analogs, Cooperative Institute for Precipitation Systems. And this, by the way, what it does is it looks at climatology. How does this system compare with climatology? So if we we have to look at the extended out analogs, and we have to look at what days 6 through 8, obviously, right? So we're going to bring up eastern sections of Northwest Arkansas, and then we're going to look at this stuff that shows probability of severe reports. So this will pop up, and this is already showing 6 days out that there's a very good likelihood of severe reports. Now, the instability is questionable because the models aren't handling that well, and they don't get the low-level jet response. So it doesn't show as much instability, but it's still there. So we know that this system coming in is going to be rather interesting. If we look at the GEFS, here's the hazard guidance. Let's look at the significant percentages for potential for a tornado. And look at that, it's over us. It's not zero. And it shows that these are the top 105 analogs. And if we look at what the storm system looks like, there's so many things you can do with this. Mean height analysis, it's a huge trough. I mean, we know big troughs like this cause storms. And so remember, it's all about that instability and the question of the instability. So that's about the only thing that's questionable with this system is the timing. We know it's going to be strong. We know the energy's coming in. There was a Christmas tornado back in 2016, as a matter of fact. No, 2019, there was a Christmas tornado too. It was, it was October 21st. But the Rowlett tornado was, in fact, December 26th of 2016. That was Rowlett, Texas. It was actually 2015. I take that back. And that was because in 2015, we had the massive flood that happened here. Yeah, so it was December 26th, 2015. 2015 was a wicked year with that flood. We had a bad flood. I remember how high the rain was across the area. Okay, so anyways, that's a little bit of a look at the SIPS analogs. And trying to get back to where it was there. Go back here. There we go. I can remove that. Yes, there was a system. So yeah, and you just saw I was showing Thomas tornado potential. It's there. There's no doubt it's there. Well, it's a little early for that, but it's probably going to be the tornado, Ty, on Monday night. I just what are the things that can limit the severe potential? Well, it could speed up and the instability doesn't come back. Saturday's system could really scour out the Gulf and then it gets shoved to the east. So that would mean the risk would change. So going back to that risk, if you're just hopping on here, here is a look at what it looks like. And so it is definitely in place. There it is, severe weather risk. And we can also look at this too. This is the supercell index from the European, which, by the way, I know it doesn't show a lot, but remember, this barely has any instability at all. So here's a look at the supercell index, and you can see how that is lifting northward and moving through. And this is on a Tuesday morning, excuse me. And the SIG-TOR parameter for the GFS starts creeping back in. There you see it popping up. This is Tuesday morning. I mean, look at this, folks. This is a ways out, and for it to show that. And for a storm prediction center to outlook an area that far out, it's there. I mean, this is this storm system has all the makings of severe weather potential. So, instability in Ohio. Yeah. So, anyways, I think that about breaks down everything. Yeah, the rain is coming down now, good, and we got some thunderstorm activity. But really, honestly, snow after the cold front. Let's take a look at that, shall we? Um, yeah, we'll take a look at that. Let's add that back to the stream. Let's go back to this. And like you said, we're going to go back to the GFS because the GFS goes out far enough. The other models do not. So let's do the 18Z. Let's look at precipitation, and we're going to look at P-type, and we're going to look at 6-hour precip type. So there's the rain that comes in overnight tonight. That moves out. Here's Saturday system, brings rain, moves out for Saturday evening. Here's the next system that dives in. You can see it, by the way. Look at the amount of winter storm activity. This system is going to be wicked. It's not only going to bring severe weather for us, it's also going to bring us a tremendous winter storm, blizzard conditions, you name it, across the northern plains. So Dakota is going to get slammed. Now, watch what happens here. So after that energy moves out, here comes the next round, and look. Oh, now it's a little bit north. But regardless, it's a precipitation system that has some pretty cold air to work with, maybe not quite cold enough. Now look, because we have that northwesterly flow continuing with an active weather pattern, here comes the next wave showing winter weather potentially right before Christmas, December 21st. So it's not out of the question. Now, do I post that on social media? Well, I guess I'm doing a Facebook Live right now, and I'm showing it. Let me make sure you can see it. Yes, you can. That system that's coming in, it's looking pretty impressive. Now, what we need to do, though, is remember the models can change a lot, and they can change a lot over a short period of time. So let's just go back to the 12Z and see what it shows. Winter storm. Let's go back to the 6Z. Nothing. So it doesn't show any winter weather. But it does have a system coming in. There are signs that there will be a system with cold air. And I've been saying that for a while now, that the chance of us seeing a warm, uneventful week around Christmas looks very slim to none. This is a cold weather pattern. If we look at the temperatures, we're about to flip. The flip is going to happen, of course, because of what we're going to see basically next week. Next week, the pattern flips and everything changes. So if we go back to, let's go to states, let's go to Arkansas. Let's bring up some of these temperatures. Yowzers. So we're talking teens and 20s and 30s. Here's the front coming in. That's going to bring the winter weather potential. Remember the front that comes in on December 11th and 12th. Look at this. So the models are going upper 60s. I believe it too. It's going to be probably in the 70s, honestly, and it might even get into the 80s because the models aren't going to warm it up enough. Now here comes this front. Watch this. Boom. That's a strong front, and there it comes blasting in. Now the front doesn't move in on this until Tuesday night. So that means that severe weather potential could be ramping up. This, by the way, is the newest GFS. So let's see what it's got for severe weather potential. And oh, yeah, a lot more CAPE. A whole lot more. This is surface-based CAPE. And as a matter of fact, we can look at the latest. Let's look at the latest while it comes in here. Let's look at the latest sounding. So we'll go 132 hours out. That's Monday night. And we'll go 144 hours out. Still has trouble with that surface-based instability. There it starts racing back. You know, this is pretty typical. Remember, November 4th barely had any instability, too. And look at what happened. You know, it was like over a dozen tornadoes. The shear is off the charts, though. Look at that. Now, that's a little bit more of a less than critical angle, appropriate critical angle. So you need, for strong tornadoes, that needs to be more of an northeasterly motion instead of a northeast motion for the storms, just because of this southwesterly component. But Remember, this is showing that instability hanging back. And I really honestly, I mean, you look at the high res models and they're able to analyze that a lot better. Problem is, though, those high res models, they're not coming out until essentially they're not going to be here until basically the end of the weekend. Yeah, I got the 0Z. This is the 0Z. Let's go back here. Or unless I didn't. Oh yeah, you're right. It didn't load. Thank you, sir. My bad. So there we go. Now you see a little more instability. Look at that making it back north, and that's Tuesday morning. And look at that. That's tornado potential. Southerly component to the wind, right moving storms, shows the critical angle at 52. But the shear profile is something to write home about. That's going to be real interesting. I'm telling you what, we are going to be on guard and ready and alert on Monday night. So good question on the 30% for Tuesday. Cameron, I think you are spot on with that. I think we're going to see that potential. Thank you, Matthew, for that. Yeah, that is the I thought it loaded the 0Z, but it didn't. We're juggling a lot of hats here. Let's look at the energy helicity index and see what that shows. Yeah, look at that, 1.1. So it has increased. If we look at the model trend loop, this will show you what it's done over time. See, nothing. Oh, it's got more. Now it's starting to back that thing up. And you see it kind of shifting around, and now it's a little bit faster. So this is what we're talking about with that inconsistency. So remember, when we get like 10 days out, 12 days out, that doesn't show any instability, right? But at the same time, which is 9 o'clock in the morning, you can see with the run that was on the noon time frame on the 5th of December. Here is the evening of the 5th. Here is overnight on the 5th into the 6th. And see how that model has changed the instability over time. That's exactly what we mean. That's a model trend loop. So if we look at supercell composite, let's look at that on a model trend. So, and then also notice the pump fake too. There's a pump fake that happens right in the middle of this. See how it's there, and then all of a sudden it drops it off. It has it really extensive. Then it drops it off right here. Typical pump fake. Drops it off again, but then finally it comes back. So that's that computer model hokey pokey. I can't stand it. It's an annoying game that the models play. Let's look at this supercell composite. And remember, this is all based and determined on the instability. Here's the photographs, by the way. This, by the way, is Northwest Arkansas. You know what? I can zoom in on this. Let me do that. Regional. We'll go here, South Central. So look at this. This is cool. It shows all the photographs. A textbook photograph for severe weather is that right there. Textbook. Classic. Sickle shape photograph. Let's go over here. Let's click on one of these here as we get very favorable winds right here. So let's do this. This one right here. 500 Cape. That is just classic. It says marginal tornado, and that's because the instability is lacking and the LFC is really high. But the photograph is extremely favorable. But it's all about that instability. So to sum up everything, we got rain right now. We'll see the rain continue overnight. It's picking up in intensity as expected. It's going to fill in more. There might be some localized flooding. Saturday morning, we got rain. It all moves out. And then Monday into Tuesday, it's going to be a big system, man. So we're going to watch this close. Hey, Jason Boggs is on here. What's going on, Jason? Jason, my storm chasing partner. In fact, Jason, I wonder if I can bring up our good old Campo, Colorado tornado storm chase. Let me see if I can find it real quick on another computer. I might not be able to. Well, I got it. Yep, I got it. Okay, so stand by here. If I can load this up, I don't know. You'll have to tell me if you can hear the audio. I don't know if you will. I don't think you will. We don't have that worked out quite yet. Um, let's see here. All right, so all I got to do is share this. I'm gonna share this screen. So stand by. I go to share screen. Oh, I seriously consider a moderate risk. Yeah, but not that far out. Wouldn't doubt if they go 30% though as we get into maybe not tomorrow, the day 5, but the day 4. So this was Campo, Colorado. This is Jason and I storm chasing, and May 31st, 2010. Can you guys hear that audio? I don't know if you can or not. Let me know if you guys can hear the audio. I don't think you can. It looks it's a little jerky too. Nope, can't hear the audio. Bummer. We'll have to work on that. That's one problem with having a stream. But did you see Jason with his hat on backwards? Let me go back to that here. We'll get him. So pause it right there. There's Jason. There's Boggs. Big J. And you saw his hat on backwards, and then you also saw the car. And so let's hide that. There's the tornado. Look at how close it was getting. And I'm just filming it. Super shaky video. Not doing the best on doing that. Sorry you couldn't hear the audio because it's good because Jason is like, oh man, what's going on? Now I want to see if I can find this. All right. I got to show you this real quick. Okay. Stand by. I'm gonna bring this up. This is a picture from someone else showing this tornado. What a photograph, man. This is from Dino Storm. Look at that thing. You can see his right here, the but that see there's Jason. Watch, we can zoom in here. There's Jason with his head on backwards. There's me trying to get into the car door and close it. And it wasn't closing. And then look, we got I think we had a cow floating back here. I don't know what exactly that is, but it does. It's not like a smudge on the camera. It's something that was in the air. And it was big too. That was just such an amazing storm. Look at how close we were to that tornado. Man, I didn't really I remember that like it was yesterday. It's pretty awesome. No, don't save. Best chase ever. It really was. And I want to do one more. I want to show you one more here. I'll show you one more. This is my favorite. This is a photo of again that tornado, but you can see us videoing it in the background. So let me bring that one up real fast. Window. Hold on. Why is that showing up here? Cancel. Let's see here. Yeah, it's not sharing that. Window. Oh, there it is. Nope, not entire screen. This one right here. Share. Okay. Yeah, this is the Campo. Look at that tornado. Oh, there's something else in there too. Look at that, Jason. I didn't even that was me. There. That was a pixel that I drew. Look at that thing. And then there we are. A young pup. 2010. 12 years ago. What a tornado, man. Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, that about does it. Taking a trip down memory lane. Yeah, James has some good storm chases. James Hilger, yeah, he's awesome too. So, all righty, guys. So Monday into Tuesday, we got to watch it. We got to check it out. It's going to be pretty crazy, I think. And so we will be ready. We will be keeping you safe. Remember, we've got that tornado detector. It's amazing. If you're missing it, this is what we've got. Now, keep in mind, I don't have the right method on here, but we click on PTDS. I bring this up full. This is our tornado detector. So you're going to see when it shows white, there's a tornado. It's almost like guaranteed. So obviously there's no tornado right now, and it doesn't false trip either. It's really, really, really good. And so we've used this on November 4th. We'll be using it again, most likely Monday into Tuesday, December 12th through the 13th. Don't think severe weather can't happen in December. It's almost a year after the Mayfield, Kentucky tornado that was December 10th into December 11th, also Northeast Arkansas. See you guys. Thanks for hopping on here for 42 minutes, talking weather and geeking out. And so we will have 8-ball time Monday. Yeah, we definitely will be looking at that. I'm working Sunday, so I will give you all the details on Sunday as we have a better idea on the timing, on the location, as the high-res models have the instability. You guys are welcome. Tell your friends, too, if they want to learn all about the weather and learn about storms, to sign up and let us know, if they need to know anything about the weather. We'll keep them educated. Take care, guys. Have a great rest of your night. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow. Josh Rugger has your weather in the morning. Take care, guys.